Hello friends of WildRift, and we are back with another gameplay. This time we have the Rengar gameplay for #1 Rengar on the European server. It's DARKIN, it's a friend of mine, and he is doing a solid job climbing the ladder. People are so afraid of him that even famous people ban his Rengar because it's such an obnoxious thing to play against. But for now, let's focus on the game. Standard, he's placing the pink ward into the blue buff, which allows him to jump from the brush to the blue buff, or if he's getting invaded. But now, let's talk about what he does with the jungle clear. As Rengar, you want to full clear and start with Crocs. You see him jump on the camp and eat it up alive. What you also need to think about is how he angles his auto attacks. Ideally speaking, you want to always hit every camp every minute at the same time, and then move over to the next camp. He maintains his ferocity as he goes to the next camp to make sure that he has some extra damage, because if he uses his ferocity, first ability, on the already basically dead camp, it's a waste of resources. Now, notice that it's always very important that you kite the camp towards the next camp, especially here. For Rengar, it's a sneaky little trick to keep your ferocity while running away to your other camp. Like now you see him kiting the camp towards his other camp, allowing him to maintain ferocity and use his third ability to tag the wolf camp. It's really powerful. What he can do now though is, instead of kiting it towards up left, he could go right side and then jump onto the blue buff. Both works, both is completely fine, and it's just a neat little trick. Rengar, as I said, full clear, it's the most consistent approach. If you want to be a flippy little burger flipper, you can always think about just doing something else and just invading and such. But yet again, he used his ferocity first ability for the new camp. He doesn't want to use it on the old camp because it's absolutely pointless. Another thing you'll notice here is how he walks into the river, maintaining full ferocity, that just in case he meets somebody, he has full ferocity. Now, he pays attention to the Aurelia. Aurelia used flash or the blasting cone over here, and then he just collects a free kill. Now there's an ability where he should check top lane or mid lane's HP bar with his camera. He does so a little bit late, so he didn't really know what happened, but he should get an easy kill if the Gragas doesn't have flash. He doesn't get, so the Gragas gets away, didn't body block it. It's just how it goes. It's unfortunate. He basically lost an important cooldown and can't make another play. Given this now, his play is absolutely limited and he goes for vision into the enemy jungle. He can get some vision, but if the enemy croc camp isn't available, he'll just recall. With the croc camp being killed, it's a high likelihood that Camille, if she is not yet level 5, can set up a gank on the Yone, so he has to wait around the corner and not show. The fact that he just barely walks around the corner through the tri-brush or close to the tri-brush might tell the Yone that he's there, and that would be absolutely terrible for him. Now he's going for a little cheeser play. He hasn't been based yet, so his damage is rather limited, but it's Rengar, so it's a different story. He's basically waiting for the Yone to just kill him, and the kill is also ready. Root him up with the ferocity, Camille ulting, and then goodbye, good sir. Now, the only issue here is that the wave isn't in the right place, so they can't take platings, and Rengar loves to take platings. Now, Rengar has spent so much time on the map that he needs to get home. He really needs to get into base soon. But let's just imagine Mr. Yone walks up again, because he's, look at him, he's not hugging the furthest away wall, so he's just getting picked up again. Camille comes around the corner, uses the heal. Even if Rengar was about to die, it's absolutely worth it. So, crazy things. The real question is, if he had Demolish here, he could have proc Demolish if he really wanted to get some extra gold, but is the gold really required? Not really. Going for the Navori here grants him more cooldown reduction. It grants him the ability to crit, and even another Brawler's Glove on top makes it even more brutal for the enemy to face him. His Camille has been absolutely accelerated, and he is also crazy ahead. He can basically now force any play he wants to with an ultimate, but if he wants to be consistent, he just clears his jungle camps, looks for other options by panning the camera towards what is happening on the map, and then going for the play. Yet again, he presses the ultimate in an expectation, maybe watching the minimap's HP bars, but he didn't pan the camera. With him not panning the camera, I must say it is still a misplay, which it doesn't actually kill him. It is a blessed day. But well, Aurelia says hello. Didn't get the grump. Pain. This play here, if he just goes for the set, he'll be very happy because then he can resume farming. Now, even though he killed that Tristana, he lost a lot of time by not being able to farm on the map. You see, his topside camps are available and he can't farm them. And now, we need to be really honest here. Herald is vastly superior. But the real question is he playing for the dragon because he wants the dragon or does he want the kills? Because if you're fed, you can also just play for kills because you already have the money to carry and you just want to kill enemy champions. And it appears that he just wants to kill enemies, and since the enemy died, he basically thinks that he can get both Dragon and Herald. But generally speaking, dragons are useless, you don't need them, and they're most of the time hurting you more than anything else. We have seen the Irelia on the map walking close to the Herald before with the Twisted Fate ultimate, and logically speaking, Irelia should just give up this dragon and go for the Herald. Nobody cares about this dragon, but if they happen to fight here, it's gonna get wild. And you see, like, it's gonna be a massive fight on multiple ends, and it's gonna get very close for no reason. From Money's point of view, getting Herald makes it so much easier for you, and he just gets popped because it's so difficult to maneuver dragon fights with so many people involved, and it gets into such a flippy situation. Don't forget, he put his Camille so far ahead and the enemy so far behind, while also putting himself ahead. He could have just taken the Herald and go for mid lane platings with it and get even more gold. One dragon, absolutely useless. Two dragons, absolutely useless. Three dragons, different story. Now, it's back to getting money, because even now taking Herald at this timer doesn't really do too much compared to farming camps. You don't get platings, therefore the Herald is only meant to take down turrets. And in solo queue, it's rather difficult to, you know, maneuver around the map with your teammates doing exactly what you want to do. Now, the enemy team is in a position absolutely demonizing him, but luckily the support is on the move and it's time to get them killed. With Nautilus being the beefer he is, things are looking good for him. Even smiting for HP, something that most people just don't do, is when you get low, you have to smite for HP, it happens, and he just gets to kill people. They just don't even bother about the idea that Rengar might be coming. And now Mr. Rengar is beyond accelerated. So even though that this play could have gone horribly wrong, he gets away with it, and we love to see it. Inside the enemy jungle, after getting such plays done, you obviously take everything you can. Every jungle camp is yours. Quick idea about the build. He wants cooldown reduction, which means he goes for crit items, because every time he crits, he gets cooldown reduction. Now, with that in mind, Rengar wants to go in, so boots, they don't really do too much because he jumps onto somebody and just runs you down with bonus movement speed anyway. He wants as much crit as possible, as fast as possible, because if he's allowed to attack, he'll have infinite HP thanks to his second ability and infinite ferocity. That way, he just gets substantially tankier. Another little trick you can do with Rengar is you can stack your ferocity as you just saw, and then use this bonus ferocity to ult somewhere, and then cast your ferocity ability to jump with an empowered auto attack. Something I would have loved to see here though is him just ignoring what is happening and going for the bot lane wave and bot lane tower, because it's literally free. This here is forcing, I mean, he has the Herald, yes, but he could have gotten more gold by just taking the bot lane wave. And maybe, well, no, not maybe, 100% the tower, and then maybe get enemy jungle camps, while his Camille is pushing on the other side of the map, and his team is threatening to do something mid lane. And the enemy has no way of doing something because everyone was already dead. Now he's basically pigeonholing himself into pushing another wave, which will allow the enemy to respond and defend this tier 1 tower. At least they should be able to. He's ulting for vision because he wants to know who's around, and seeing 3 people on the map, he can just go for it for free. So before you think that he just wasted his ultimate, no, it was not to kill somebody, it was to secure this tower. Because if he sees multiple people on the map and then spots one person with the ult bonus range, then he can just kill them and take the kill and even more for free. He takes this turret shot also on purpose to maintain the ferocity, to take this turret down faster. Now, Rengar's beauty is, as you see, there are so many people on the other side of the map and Rengar will just eat those turrets alive. He will just completely demolish them, and the only way he can die here is because he has no ultimate, but the enemies keep on extending the play on top for no reason. Whatever this Yone does here, like, the only way he possibly dies is tower damage, and there you are. Like, this death here didn't really... It doesn't cost him too much, but we are giving away gold which we shouldn't give away. That done, he has now the 3 items he needs to take down Nashor upon spawn. He has the Navori Quick Blades, Solari Charge Blade, and the lovely item of Bloodthirster. With his boots, he will just demolish Nashor without any problem. His team, not having the best of experiences around here, but you know how it goes. That your teammates don't ever exist, and well, it is what it is. For jungling in general, you just want to make sure that your camps are on cooldown. It's so much gold income you just throw away for no reason, which is absolutely secure, and you can just do so while going to lanes. Especially with Rengar champions that clear jungle so fast, you can just go somewhere, clear jungle camps on the way, and be happy with it. Now, if he gets a single pick here on a vital enemy champion, he can just solo Nashor. If Trist is isolating there and his team or the enemy team is doing something stupid, he can just kill her and there's nothing they can do. Nautilus even also the right target and it's a sealed deal. Absolutely demolished, thrown into the gutter and death. There's no way he loses this unless... oh no, okay, never mind, there is a way he loses this and it's painful. Using ferocity is often related, or using it optimally, is often related into how far you can see into the future and what can happen to you. So, if you use your ferocity when you know that there's a chunk of burst coming into your face and you waste it, then you will most likely die. But if you know that there's a burst coming, you keep your ferocity and then use your empowered second ability to cleanse, for example, the incoming CC, and the damage, and use another second ability to fully heal up and then spam your attacks. For a brief moment you will obviously deal less damage, but with the idea in mind that critting an enemy champion and having uptime in terms of attacking enemy champions, you'll have your spells back and deal damage again. It's just something that is the highest of skilled things when it comes to Rengar, knowing how to use it in certain situations. Also, he also has identified his team is not helpful. He wants Hullbreaker, he wants to be alone, and he wants to go for the solo plays. Oh my god, Tristana, what did you just do to yourself? Dear unholy things. But it's something that most junglers don't really know. First of all, you want to take side waves as a jungle. You actually love it if people ARAM, because you get so much golden XP for free, especially in a hyper carry jungle. So you don't really care if your team is just not farming waves, because you can do so. And on champions that can take down towers, such as Mr. Rengar, you love so double. Because now you're in the side lane and now you see what happens to the tower once he walks up to the tower. He will literally demolish this tower. There's nothing they can do about this. This tower will be gone in a matter of seconds. Just look at it. He didn't even use ferocity on it. He just used one first ability on it and that's it. And now he's using his ultimate, finding the easy kill, roots up the enemy, and just Tristana is not gonna get away. Goodbye, Tristana. And he set up his entire team, by the way. Funnily enough, I believe if there was no teammates of him around, he has enough armor from Hullbreaker to not die there. So, get this, his team actually griefed him by being alive and not dying to the enemy champions or being in another place. That's the funny part. But luckily in the end, his team survives and takes down the tower, so he is quite content with the result. Item-wise, now is a big question. Like, what do we want to go for and what's a good option? Obviously, we want to go for the full crit, but there might be other item options we can look into. For example, if the enemy team has a lot of magic damage or even anti-healing, we can look for a Spirit Visage. Even into full AD compositions, it is fine if they have a lot of anti-healing, which then amplifies your damage, the healing from your second ability. Alternatively, even Randuin's nowadays is a crazy item, because it grants you so much extra healing on hit and you have so much uptime. But now we see the infamous Rengar move. Enemy team spotted, Vision Sweeper on, and Masher, Baron Nashor, you are mine now. And there's nothing the enemy can do. Yoink! It's mine now. Now it's time for recall, buy enchantment, probably run bot lane like an absolute demon, take red buff, and then run them down. His team and the enemy team are having some trouble doing I have no idea what, but it's the typical ARAM situation, so most of you people say, but ARAM isn't even in real mode. Yeah, in ranked you most of the time play ARAM anyway, so what's the point? Might as well just play the normal ARAM mode. But you see here, going to the wave, going away from his team, and now he should pan his camera to see, there it is, what is going on so he can make the correct call. This is something I've noticed so far, not many players do, they just don't gather enough information with the panning of the camera. It's very important that they do this. Sadly he loses ferocity here. Tristana ults him away, which basically removes all ability of hers to kill him. All he has to do is hit a minion now. He might get blasted here, okay. There's something about Rengar you need to also learn. It's the way you can use minions to stack ferocity when you're chasing somebody. Because obviously not always you'll be able to reach them instantly, but you can maintain ferocity or gain ferocity by just hitting those minions on the way to them. Gragas basically failed his spell and he lives. Glorious performance, lovely play, and he just takes it home. The enemy team got completely obliterated and he enjoyed his time showing off what a true #1 Rengar can do. If you want to know more about this player, you're more than welcome to check out the description. I'll link stream, everything he has, and you'll enjoy your time. Plus thing, this Teemo popped off as well. Imagine hating Teemo. See you for the next video, guys.